Clemson owes its beginning to a woman. Mrs. Anna Maria Calhoun Clemson, the wife of Thomas Green Clemson and daughter of John C. Calhoun, had inherited the portion of land that served as the foundation for Mr. Thomas Green Clemson's all-male military college in 1889. Though it was Anna Calhoun Clemson's land that Mr. Clemson maritally came into possession of, she rarely receives equal recognition as a key contributor to the founding of the school. In fact, the numerous women that have contributed to the great successes of Clemson University have been overshadowed by patriarchy, even today in the 21st century. As Clemson has grown from an all-male military college to a co-ed university, the men who helped to establish the university have been given recognition throughout Clemson. However, Clemson has not given as much credit to the abundance of women who formed the base of Clemson as it grew to an accredited university. We argue that the institution needs to better represent the female contributions that have fallen through the cracks in Clemson's extensive history.
Although women were welcomed to the university beginning in 1954, it took lots of time for women to be fully integrated into life on campus and to receive all of the same rights as their male classmates. In the early years of Clemson being a co-ed institution, there was no on-campus housing for women, minimal gathering spots where co-eds felt comfortable, and faculty members who refused to teach girls. Along with these challenges, women were also denied the opportunity to participate in sports, the marching band, and the majority of the student societies. The women at Clemson have managed to prosper despite the opposition they encountered in the early days. Not only have women been successful, but they have made changes and achievements that have led to the overall improvement of the school. The Co-ed Club is an example of one of the ways women work to participate more actively in student affairs. Additionally, women began to join and eventually take leadership positions in organizations like the Tiger Staff, Student Government, and Greek Life. In the classroom, women raised the academic bar and offered competition to their male classmates. In fact, from 1973 to 2004, the grade point average of the male students never once surpassed the women's average.
Throughout Clemson's campus, we see the men who have contributed to Clemson's successes through statues, memorials, and the names of academic halls. Examples of this include Brackett Hall, Hunter Laboratory, Edwards Hall, and other academic buildings, named after influential professors, department heads, deans, or university presidents. However, we do not see any buildings named after influential women, such as Mary Hart Evans, the first woman faculty member, Harriet R.W. Holman, a professor of English and the first woman instructor to hold a Ph.D., or Virginia Cole Skelton, an influential chemistry instructor. In addition to this, if you have walked around Clemson, you are bound to pass one of the many statues and memorials planted throughout campus. Some of the most notable statues are of Thomas Green Clemson, Walter Cox, and Benjamin Tillman. Again, all men. In light of this lack of representation, there has been an entire finalized report, last modified October 3, 2019, by the Board of Trustees about broadening the recognition on campus. A few of the top individuals on their list include Margaret Snyder, the first woman to earn a degree, Lila Holmes, who started the campaign to restore Fort Hill, and Anna Calhoun Clemson. The final report also states that the implementation team encourages recognizing Patty Maccabee, the first woman trustee, Kim Wilkerson, the first woman successor, and Mary Hart Evans. It is important that the Board of Trustees takes action on this report, as they too have recognized the need to dedicate remembrance for the many influential women of Clemson.
Not only is Clemson failing to shed light to the established women from its past, Clemson is also failing to recognize its women's sports. The accustomed athletic culture and assumptions individuals make about athletic achievement must be directed to move beyond men's sports. Recent struggles in women's sports are at the fault of a considerably imprudent judgment of collegiate athletics. At this moment of our university, there is an unequal focus on the football team and few other male sports teams, where other sports programs are seen as negligible or a threat to resources. Nonetheless, prosperity in one sport does not call for an assumption of shortcoming in others, notably when other programs are once utterly successful. At a university that incredibly advertises itself to football recruits, the athletic department should be capable of promoting comparable recruiting successes for its women athletic teams.
We conducted a survey of 54 Clemson students to see if others have noticed the inequality integrated into campus. When asked to name an influential male from Clemson's history, 22.9% of students named Thomas Green Clemson, 11.4% of students named John C. Calhoun, 26.8% of students named an influential male from the football department, 27.4% named some other influential male, and 11.5% could not name someone from Clemson's history. When asked to name an influential female from Clemson's history, 6% of students named Anna Calhoun Clemson, and 24.2% of students named some other influential female. But 69.8% of students could not name a single prominent female from the history of Clemson. We also asked students to name a past or present male or female basketball player. 56% of students could name a male basketball player, but only 12% of students could name a female basketball player. This shows how women's athletics does not receive near as much recognition as their male counterparts. When asked to name an on-campus building named after a female, 98% of students said they could not name one, and 2% of students responded that they could, though they did not give an example. We also asked students if they had seen a statue or memorial dedicated to a woman versus a man. 96.3% of students said they had seen a statue of a male, but 94.4% of students had not seen a statue or memorial dedicated to a female. Finally, we prompted students with the question, do you think Clemson gives enough recognition to the women of its past? 88.5% of students responded no. Through our study, we have found that our concern of female representation remains prevalent among Clemson students to this day.
Throughout all the hardships the women of Clemson University had to endure, they have still managed to reach great achievement, thrive, and prosper. Women have played a large role in bettering Clemson, and in return, Clemson women are changing our country. As a result of progressive guides who have set the precedent to ensure that women receive full access to all the opportunities this university has to offer, few barriers remain left to be broken. By highlighting the continued topics of disproportionate representation of achievement from Clemson's female alumni, students, faculty, administration, and staff, we can more effectively illustrate a more complete history of Clemson's diverse upbringing.